Hey there everyone, this is Michael Dougal. I review nootropics and I'm going to share my experience using Solank as a nootropic supplement. This is what the dropper looks like. People often will take like 2 to 4 drops per day depending on what sort of benefit they're hoping to get from it. And what had intrigued me about this nootropic supplement is that it had recently become very popular around helping with productivity and also at the same time decreasing levels of anxiety. And I'm happy and surprised to say that this nootropic actually does something, and it's probably one of the better nootropics of the many that have been become more popular within the past 5 or so years. I've personally been using nootropics over 10 years. I started off with piracetam. I got introduced to the adaptogens and the mushrooms. And so these days, it's pretty hard to find something new to introduce to my nootropic stack that actually does something. So when I see a newer nootropic released to the scene, I subconsciously just disqualify it and figure, okay, this nootropic is probably not going to be popular in a year. It's just that it's new and people want the newer nootropic. But I found a lot of unique properties and benefits with using Solank. Like for one, it actually does reduce anxiety in many different ways. I find that when I'm using Solank, I'm less likely to overthink, I'm more likely to execute, and I thought I was the only one that had experienced this, but if you browse online, it's pretty common that most individuals are actually using Solank for this specific benefit. Whereas with most nootropics, individuals would use them for boosting productivity or focus or motivation, whereas Solank, it's like one of those nootropics that's become popular specifically for those individuals that have tried a lot of different nootropics for anxiety. They found that nothing has worked well for them and they've ended up enjoying using Solank. And when I'll compare it to something like ashwagandha, for example, ashwagandha is very effective at reducing anxiety levels, but it also comes with the side effects such as tiredness, such as demotivation. And with Solank, it seems like you don't have to worry about that because while it'll reduce levels of anxiety, you still feel like yourself. You don't really feel more tired. If anything, you might actually get a slight energy boost. And it's interesting because it's like a mild stimulant, so I personally wouldn't use it before bed, but at the same time, I can see individuals using it before they sleep and it not interfering with their sleep in many ways. So that's the major benefit, I would say, the reduction in anxiety. Perhaps you can get a slight boost of focus, a slight boost of energy. There is some research done on animals showing that Solank can potentially help with learning and also help increase levels of BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, and an increase in BDNF levels potentially makes it more likely that you can form new brain cells, can potentially make you smarter, and be able to address those more complex problems and complex issues with a bit more ease. At the same time, there's many reasons why individuals actually wouldn't use Solank. For one, we don't have much research showing how effective it can be long-term. Also, when you browse anecdotes online, you'll find that it's pretty common that people notice the benefits of Solank on day one, but once they continue to use it, even after a few days, they stop noticing the effects working. And I can personally say that's been my experience. I find that the benefits on day 2 would be similar to using it on day 1, but that's something which does concern me a little bit because I definitely don't want to set myself up to using a nootropic and then getting off of it and potentially experiencing withdrawals. Let's also look at the practicality of using it. Most commonly, you're going to find Solank in a dropper, and most individuals that are using nootropics are used to consuming it in the capsule form. With respect to side effects, I wouldn't be too concerned. You will rarely come across any of them in either the research or in anecdotes. Of course, the odd individual may mention that it could potentially give them headaches, it could make them in a worse mood, but if you're one of those individuals, then you would notice that side effect pretty quickly, and then of course just discontinue the use of it. And one of the things that I like most about Solank is the potential flexibility with this nootropic supplement. It'll most likely go well with the other nootropics that you're consuming. One of my favorite nootropics to use alongside Solank is Alpha GPC because Alpha GPC as well helps with learning, and I've talked more about Alpha GPC in this video over here. But also, it doesn't matter whether you're taking it at the beginning of the day, the end of the day. It also doesn't matter what type of work you're doing. You'll find Solank to be appropriate for different styles of work, like whether you're making sales calls, whether you're working behind a computer, whether you just want to even socialize with others. You'll find Solank could be great in that context because of that benefit of helping with anxiety and social anxiety. And the way that I'm using Solank is at a serving size of 200 micrograms to 300 micrograms per day. I'll typically use it once a day. You can use it twice a day, but I'd rather not. Of course, I prefer like the safer, more conservative approach to nootropics. I'll probably discontinue the use of it after a few months